One in five suffer.
Erase the stigma.
Brain difference is not a crime.
Mental health isn't just your problem.
It's our problem.
And now, Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave.
Welcome to Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave, except today, it's just Dave. In this fight to erase the stigma surrounding mental health and in dealing with mental health in general, you know, it affects all of us. So Marla is dealing with some of these issues at home in our family. And so I'm going to hold down the fort on the show today, but don't worry because the show is going to be amazing. But before I tell you why it's going to be so amazing, I want to remind you to text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 818-698-1021 and support our A Dollar Today Keeps the Stigma Away campaign. That is how your support actually is how we continue to bring you this great content. So we really need you. We appreciate you. And any extra money, guess what? It goes back in to bring you even more content, making things even better around here. Don't you think? Hey, man, we need some bling around here, Tony. Anyway, back to the reason why this show is going to be so amazing today. Our guest today is Janelle Liberato. She's the lead facilitator and peer-to-peer leader at NAMI San Fernando Valley. Now, first of all, we especially appreciate and love speaking with all the local leaders at NAMI, but we really love speaking with peer-to-peer leaders as they've turned their successes and their dealings with their mental health issues into helping others in a very dynamic way right there on the front line of the struggle, you guys. And with that in mind, we are going to have an amazing conversation with Janelle Liberato when we come right back.
Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave and NAMI San Fernando Valley believe it doesn't take much to make life a little better for our neighbors, coworkers, friends, our family members, even our children who suffer with mental illness. When you support our A Dollar Today Keeps the Stigma Away campaign, you are doing your part to erase the stigma surrounding mental illness. For just $1 today, or $1 a day for 1 week, just $7, we can look forward to a future that does not include the unfortunate and uncomfortable stares, bullying, and the subsequent isolation that our loved ones who suffer with brain differences deal with. Text the word GIVE, that's G-I-V-E, to 818-698-1021 to donate. A Dollar Today Keeps the Stigma Away. Brought to you by Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave and NAMI San Fernando Valley.
Okay, we are back and we welcome Janelle Liberato. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's great being here. Thank you.
Man, we are so honored to have you here. Like I said in the intro, we really appreciate we appreciate all the NAMI leadership and all the things that NAMI does for the community, especially when it comes to mental health. But we really appreciate peer-to-peer leaders because what you guys do is right there on the front lines, dynamic, one person talking about their successes and being sometimes vulnerable with their struggles, but how they deal with those and helping others that are currently dealing with similar issues. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did. Actually, it's crazy because I myself am still struggling. But going to these things for NAMI, it's kind of been a blessing for me because I don't know where I would be right now without these amazing resources like the peer-to-peer classes and the peer-to-peer connection support groups.
Well, let's start right there. When you say you're still struggling, what do you mean by that?
So I started showing a little bit of awkwardness when I was 18. So mind you, I was in college. I was dealing with the loss of somebody. Mm-hmm. And I had a case manager who, God, I do not like her, told me I wasn't going to make it at my 19th birthday. I was a hopeless case. You're giving up.
Wait a minute. Wait, what industry were you working in when this happened?
I was in college.
You were in college and you had did you say a caseworker?
Yes.
Okay. And so that sounds like not something a caseworker would say.
Mm-hmm. So I had filed a report on her. She no longer works for that facility. I had changed that place. I'm no longer with that place anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with a different wonderful facility called Hillview Mental Health Center off
Okay.
of Pacoima. They've been
Okay.
with me ever since, and I'm about to reach my 25th birthday. It's been about 7 years, and I'm the healthiest I've ever been. And I
Okay.
proved everybody wrong.
I love that. I love that. And I'm so sorry that someone that should have had more empathy for your situation actually handled it so poorly. But tell us the effect of that. When that person said those things to you, what did that cause in your life?
It really put me in a really dark place. I didn't want to, it went to a period where I didn't want to leave my house. I didn't want to see anybody. The only people I saw were my family or the people I lived with. And it really put me in a deep, dark place where I just was sitting in my room watching YouTube videos or find something to entertain me by like reading books or just video games. It really is all I could ever do.
Yes, you told us, you told me before the show actually started that your background is you're from the Philippines originally.
Yes.
And usually we've had other people from different Asian cultures on the show, and they said that mental health is not usually something that is easily talked about. Did you find that in your household growing up as well?
Yes, like you said, Filipino, and I'm also Chinese, or at least
Okay.
5% as far as I'm concerned. Mental health is not something to be brought up at the dinner table. You're always put down and always often stigmatized. It took them quite a bit of a while to understand that, there was something definitely wrong with me and that, that I needed some help. And they just said, you know what, we need a professional to see somebody because my daughter or my niece or my cousin is not doing well and we need to figure out how to help her. So it took them quite a while.
And how would you describe quite a while? Is that like 5 years,
I
six
want to say
months?
5 years, maybe 6 months, but they're still not open to it.
Oh, so when you were going through that initial period where you felt that just surrounded by darkness, that feeling, especially but was brought on by the way that the caseworker actually dealt with your situation, you couldn't turn to the family for any support?
No, there was only that one person that she was like a mother to me. She raised me. She was like a second mom. I wouldn't correct myself. She was like a second mom to me. But unfortunately, she lost her battle to breast cancer almost 4 years ago. God rest her soul. She was like a best friend to me. She was the only one that understood what I was going through, and it's kind of never been the same. And my family, they've always misunderstood me, and they don't really see this NAMI thing or mental health thing as a awesome, amazing thing that I'm doing. They just see me as another individual who let them down and feel hopeful.
What does that mean when you say let them down? What would they expect differently from what you're doing?
So they wanted me to go to nursing school. Nursing school was not my thing. I mean, just because I have a long line of nurses in my family, doctors, and all that stuff, it wasn't for me. I wanted to do something like psychology, where the mind is, it's not perfect, but it's something.
Yeah.
And when I told them what I wanted to do, they just said, "Hey, okay, whatever. Good luck to you. Hopefully you get your degree." And I'm almost close to getting my associates.
Well, there you go. There you go. So you're fighting the battle. How would you how would you define a support system that you can feel some? You've said that you've lost someone that's very close to you recently. The person who raised you, helped raise you like a second mother. Where would you turn to for other than NAMI? And I'm leading toward getting to how you found NAMI. Where did you start looking for support before that?
So I went to my colleges at the time, my community college, College of the Canyons, shout out to them. I went to a therapist. I was trying to find an amazing therapist to just find that sense of like clarity on figuring out how do I fix this? How do I get better?
Mm-hmm.
And I found that one therapist. I'm not going to disclose his name for privacy concerns, but he really helped me a lot, and it's a lot right now for anybody who's going through something like this. And I just take it every day as if it were my last.
Wow. And so, what is it exactly that you were dealing with? Is that just depression that was situational, or?
Depression and the trauma that my family had put me through, saying that, your mental health it's not something we can talk about, or you're not allowed to talk about it
being
here.
ignored.
Yeah, I was just basically a wall that everyone just walked through and didn't see.
Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that. But now let's turn the corner. How did you find out about NAMI?
So Nathan Steiner, who is my wonderful fiance, his mother, Robin, who actually was a guest on your show.
Absolutely. Robin is a friend of the show and a good friend of ours.
She told me, if you want to really if you really want to start with your mental health and you want to work on it and how to succeed in life, take the peer-to-peer course. So I took that 8-week course with Fabiana Gonzalez, who was another guest on your show. Shout out to her.
Absolutely.
And Greg Adamian, who was a wonderful teacher of mine. I was taught so many different coping mechanisms, how to set a goal for myself, what I wanted to do after the support, the connections class. And I said, you know what, I want to facilitate. I want to connect. I want to do like support groups. I want to do peer-to-peer classes, because I feel like those who don't have a voice are afraid to be judged. And I am now. I'm a connections facilitator and a peer-to-peer leader and a teacher. It's wonderful. I've been doing this for about 3 years now, and I always feel great about it.
Well, that's amazing. First of all, the fact that you've actually, it sounds like you've moved into really a self-care type of perspective. And how would you describe your support system now?
They've been really supportive now that I have my mother and my father, who I love very, very much. They've been by my side and they've been supporting me throughout my entire journey. And they want to learn more, and they want to do what they can. They want to get the knowledge they want by taking a class and learn more on how to help their daughter who's going through it. It's, my father is not the greatest anymore. His health is very weak. He's type 2 diabetic.
Okay.
And so he's watching his health, and I hate for him to lose his life to something like this, because it's very traumatic. My father is like, you only get one father in life. That's what they always told me.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? We are grateful for the fact that you persevered through your struggle, and even that perseverance paid dividends, even your own family. How you have a turnaround between your parents. We get back to that conversation as soon as we get back from this next break. Be right back.
It's time for the Mental Health Minute with Marla and Dave.
Bulimia is an illness in which a person binges on food or has regular episodes of overeating and feels a loss of control. The person then uses different methods such as vomiting or abusing laxatives to prevent weight gain. The disorder is most common in adolescent girls and young women. The exact cause of bulimia is unknown. Genetic, psychological trauma, family, society, or cultural factors may play a role. Bulimia is likely due to more than one factor. In bulimia, eating binges may occur as often as several times a day for many months. Binges lead to self-disgust, which causes purging to prevent weight gain. Purging may include forcing yourself to vomit or excessive exercise, or like we said before, using laxatives, enemas, or diuretics to just purge yourself of all the food that you have in your body. If anyone you know shows any signs of bulimia, please seek professional help immediately. This message is brought to you by Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave. I never do anything without thinking about it first.
Marla is a feeler.
I basically live my personality on my stage.
But when Marla and Dave get together, it's like a match dancing with a firecracker.
All right, Janelle. So as we were saying before we left, it just kind of struck me as an amazing aside. if you will, when you said that the way that you were describing how your family was dealing with mental health toward the beginning of the conversation, and then as you were describing it, your relationship to your parents, as we were leaving that segment, it was almost as if they had started to come around a little bit, and they're becoming more, choosing to become more supportive when it comes to in the area of mental health. Did I get that correct?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
That is awesome.
It's amazing what my parents my parents have done, and it's crazy as it seems. They love me as if I'm any other normal adult. I'm just as any other normal 20-something-year-old adult dealing with something that can be hard to describe to them.
Yeah.
But it's not easy.
So let's turn the corner and start talking specifically about the work that you're doing there at NAMI. Are you about to say something? I'm sorry.
No, please.
I was going to ask specifically about peer-to-peer. Why don't you explain what that actually is? I tried to do my best at the beginning, but it's better coming from you.
Yeah, so we work with peers who are suffering with mental illness, not only one, mental illness, that's dual. They can be dual diagnosed, singly diagnosed, or multiply diagnosed, with a course that works with different mental illnesses, setting their goals, what they want to do with the rest of their lives, sharing their personal stories, because some of them are probably ashamed to share their stories about what got them into mental health, what got them their mental illness, or what led up to the thing that they're suffering from, and what their goals are after the course. And I've had many students come to my support groups who actually recognize me and say, "Hey, you taught me almost about a week ago," and I'm like, "Really? That's crazy! I didn't know that was me."
I love that. So, in a case like that, how would you encourage someone who really doesn't want to be transparent or doesn't really want to talk about the things? Because as we all know, this issue, this mental health thing is still wrought with a lot of stigma surrounding the issue. So how would you get someone to actually feel safe to be able to come out and to be able to share what they're going through, to make the peer-to-peer class more effective for that person?
I want to say, if you're not alone and you're suffering from mental illness, like we say at NAMI, you're not alone, as my background says. Don't be afraid to try something that makes you feel comfortable. If it makes you a little iffy, it's okay. We're not going to criticize you. We're not going to judge you. If you don't feel ready to come back the next week, it's okay. Just let us know. Or if you feel a certain way about a certain topic that someone is talking about, you can be put in a breakout room with either myself or a colleague, and we can sit down and figure out how we can make you as comfortable as possible and not make you feel like, oh, I got to log off now because somebody's talking about, something that makes me feel iffy, or, that's so traumatizing to me. I don't want to come back.
Are the classes still mostly online?
Yes, we are still remotely on Zoom.
Okay, awesome. And how can someone actually, if they're looking for help with some issues that they're dealing with, and does the issue have to be a severe issue?
It doesn't have to be severe. It can be just something as small as anxiety or something to do with an eating disorder. They can go to our NAMI San Fernando website, NAMI, NAMI Frank, as in Frank, v.org.
Yeah.
Or NAMI.org, wherever they are, and they can find their local affiliate.
I love that. So how do you think that your experience is going to inform the choices that you make moving forward? I know you just said before the show that you just finished your last final. You're doing well in school. You got your goals. How is this going to inform your future?
Because what I do at NAMI, it's just I feel like it's a good experience for me. Because if anyone sees that, hey, you worked for NAMI, we can hire you doing this, because I feel like you have good, effective communication skills. Because anywhere you go, you really need good communication skills for, whether you're, suffering from something wrong with your speech, you could still, you're just as the same as anyone.
Absolutely. So it sounds like what you're saying is the "you're not alone" aspect, it just permeates everything that you do. Just
Yes.
make sure that everyone, and there's no pressure when you come to peer. That's one of the things that I was really trying to reach for, is to get you to really show that people, because a lot of people that I know that we're dealing with, even people in my own family, when we mentioned, hey, maybe you should try peer-to-peer, they didn't feel as comfortable in a group setting, if that makes any sense. And this is the first time that I heard that you can also do breakout sessions if you come to peer-to-peer. If you feel that pressure, but you want to actually share in a more intimate space, I guess you said that there are breakout sessions that you can have during the class.
Yeah,
Explain
they
that a
can.
little bit,
If
please.
they say, for example, like I said, a student is talking about a certain topic that makes them feel uncomfortable, and another student says, "Hey, direct message me, or my colleague says, hey, I feel a little bit uncomfortable about something. Can I be put in a breakout room with you, and I want to share my feelings about it?"
Well, describe you said that your first contact with a mental health professional happened in college, and at first that unfortunate one was your first experience. But how would you describe, from your experience on the local college level, the mental health resources that the universities and colleges have available?
It was really, like I said, it was really helpful for me. Like I said, I really wasn't afraid to walk into their office and say, "Hey, I need to talk to somebody because I feel like no one's really listening to me, and I feel like I'm struggling. So is there any way I can schedule an appointment with somebody who can probably sit down with me and work with me on figuring something out?"
And was
And
that something that you just felt that you had to do on your own, or was that something that someone actually said you should try to do?
it was something I wanted to do on my own because it all starts with you, you know. And if you can't do it, then maybe someone can hopefully encourage you, maybe a friend, if it's not a family member, or someone like a mentor, or let alone a professor, because, professors are there to help students succeed, or
Absolutely.
mentors.
Absolutely. So you also said that you're one of the lead facilitators. Does that mean that you also teach other facilitators?
So I used to train other facilitators, but I don't do that anymore. But we had another individual who I used to work with. We kind of switch off whoever's going to be the lead that day, or
Oh,
who's going to
okay.
co-facilitate that day. Yeah.
Okay,
But
so
I like the leader, because it's on my placard.
okay, I love that. It's a great resume line as well. What is it that you're actually studying in school, by the way?
Psychology with a minor in communication studies. So I want to do case managing because I want to prove to all those case managers out there that, hey, you have a client, give them the voice that they want to hear.
Yeah.
'Cause-
So
And
which
don't give
is,
up on them.
that's a seems to be sort of a reoccurring theme that I would associate with you, Miss Janelle Liberato, only because what you're really seeming to show is that when you have an issue, you don't give up. You just keep striving to push ahead to figure out where the answer is going to lie. And you take responsibility and accountability because, like you said, it all starts with the person in the mirror. So I appreciate that. This is a great conversation. We asked you at home watching, don't go anywhere because we're going to be right back after this next bit of fun. All right. I guess it's all on me today. Get it, Dave. Get it, Dave. Anyway, that fun music says it's poll time. Time for the poll question. So Janelle, we need your help as well. This is not just a one-way street, so I'm going to share last week's poll question, which was, what is the number of U.S. adults with schizophrenia? Now, we're going to ask you to weigh in on these answers. So your options are A, 500,000, B, 1 million, or C, 1.5 million. What is the number of U.S. adults with schizophrenia? 500,000, 1 million, or 1.5 million?
I'm going to say letter A.
Letter A, 500,000?
Yep.
Okay, well, ink. Oh, sorry, Janelle. Unfortunately, it is C, the highest possible number that were out of the options. 1.5 million is the number of U.S. adults with schizophrenia. But all is not lost. You have one more chance. So listen to this one. What percentage of all global diseases are either mental, neurological, or substance abuse disorders? What percentage of all global diseases are either mental, neurological, or substance abuse disorders? Your options are 3%, 7%, or 10%.
I'm gonna say 7%.
Okay.
I'm feeling lucky.
Now this, that is a lucky number. So, but we can't reveal the answer just yet. You're going to have to tune in next week to see if you got that one correct. All right. Will you do that for us?
Sounds good.
Okay. Love it. And you guys don't forget to text the word GIVE, GIVE, to 818-698-1021. Support our $1 Today Keeps the Stigma Away campaign. We're going to get back to our conversation with Janelle Liberato. All right, Janelle, why don't you talk to us about what is it that you would like to see differently in the mental health community? What is it that you already started talking about the fact that one of the reasons why you decided to go into psychology, to become a caseworker, to kind of undo some of those experiences and show that there's another way to be a caseworker that's completely different from some of your earlier experiences?
Like I had said earlier, Dave, for those who don't have a voice and they need someone to talk to about whatever it is they're struggling with, it's okay. It's okay. It's normal. I don't want people to feel like they're being given up on or being tossed aside and being told you're a hopeless case, because you're not a hopeless case. You're just as any, I guess I wouldn't say the word normal, but any average human being who's struggling with something, because you don't know, the person you could be walking down the street with could be struggling with something.
Yeah.
And they probably would just need some encouragement.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about it is when you said sort of the hesitancy with the word normal, the funny thing is it is normal to have issues that you have to deal with. And it is also normal to sometimes be overwhelmed by those issues. And it's also normal to actually need some help from time to time. Now, there's a commercial on TV that's funny to me. They have a guy lifting weights and he's got the barbell pressed to his chest, but he's saying he doesn't need help because his family doesn't believe that, you shouldn't ask anybody for help. Meanwhile, there's a weight crushing the wind out of you. That's sometimes how life actually is. And so I appreciate that message. How would you describe your work at NAMI when it comes to interfacing not just with your peer-to-peer classes, but do you take some of those same skills that you've learned in dealing with everyday social experiences?
Yeah, it can be exhausting, but it's also rewarding. I had a very amazing student who was in my class this past semester. She was struggling. She said, do you happen to have any resources for someone like me? Because I feel like, no one's really listening to me at home, and I really, really want to figure out how I can start with just myself. And I said, you know what? I work for NAMI as an independent contractor. We have our support groups, and we also have these classes. Take my business card. I happen to have a business card on me. And
love
I said,
that.
Take my business card and, email me, and I'll send you all the links and all the things that can help you out. And actually, she's been coming to my support groups.
I love that. That is the reason why, like I said at the beginning of the show, and I've said throughout the show, there's a special place in my heart when it comes to peer-to-peer leadership, only because there's not a distinction between someone who's dealing with an issue and someone who has the answer. It's almost like we're all dealing with this together. Let's hold hands and figure something out. If you need some help, I'm there to help you, just like you did in that experience that you just shared. And if I happen to need help, then, you can also do the same, because it's leadership by example. I guess that's my main thing. And so we appreciate you, and we want you to know that we are glad and we are proud that you finished your last exam and you're about to take a little break here.
Thank you so much.
But it's still ever in the fight for erasing the stigma surrounding mental health and the fight to actually make sure that everyone gets the help that they need. Janelle Liberato has been our guest. We thank you so much for spending some time with us here at Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave. You enjoy the rest of your evening. And for you guys at home, remember, you are not alone. There's always someone there to help you. Just reach out and ask. See you guys later.